Hello, and welcome to the KSI Chronicles. I'm your host, KSI 7. For this episode, I had the pleasure of interviewing KSI VENM 7. Venom is our Chief of Internal Affairs and runs WebOps. He is extremely knowledgeable in all areas of KSI and KSI history. Now, before we begin with his interview, I like to take a few minutes to talk about some announcements from around the community. Starting off with our T&E department, we have a Cupid's Clash event update. Due to the ongoing restructuring of the T&E department, there will not be a Cupid's Clash event this year. But don't fret, Gun Crowns is returning. Gun Crowns is making a comeback starting March 1st, 2025. There will be some changes to the format, and more details will be shared as we get closer to the event. T&E is also hiring, so if you're interested in helping plan and host events, keep an eye on the T&E application thread in the KSI Global ClanOps server. Now we got some AP announcements. When you guys are nominating members for awards, make sure to tag them in the multi-nom. If they aren't tagged, they won't receive their awards. The AP team is also making changes to staff awards, with some being rotated in and out, so grab them while you can. AP is also hiring, so if you're interested in joining the most active and fun department, open a ticket in the ClanOps server under Join a Department and select AAP. The AAP head, KSI Sub 7, will follow up with you directly. Now, do you need help finding which awards you qualify for? Check out the full list of our awards or ask an AAP staff member in your squad or division. Another fun announcement, Productions Awards are returning. We're bringing back the Productions Awards for clip compilations in 2025. More details will be shared as we get closer, so stay tuned. Now, I want to take a moment and thank you guys for all being here and all listening. And let's get started with our interview with KSI VENM 7. So, all right, hey Venom, got some
Hey
questions
T,
for
how's it
you.
going?
I'm doing pretty good. I got some
All
questions
right,
for you. We're going to start off about you, your life a little bit, and then we're going to get into that good old KSI stuff.
all right, sounds good.
All right, so the first thing I want to ask, let's make you human, because I know a lot of the time myself and members kind of see the board members as above them. You know what I mean? Sometimes not human. I mean, I know I got scared when I met you for the first time. I was scared meeting Swag for the first time. So let's humanize you a little bit.
All right.
So first question, um, sports teams.
Well, I mean, big football fan. You know, love, diehard Houston Texans fan. Um, I was proud of them this year. They made playoffs, but I don't think we're gonna get much farther. But hey, if we do, we do. If we don't, well, hey, we made it. So,
Okay, okay,
nothing. I mean, I really don't watch many other sports, MMA, professional wrestling, stuff like that.
okay. Neat, neat. Now music. I know your music taste are a little bit all over the place like myself. So currently right now, what would you say you're listening to the most?
Oh, I mean, a lot of rock, some rap, some here and there. Some Spanish music. Now when I say Spanish, I don't like that bachata, that reggaeton stuff like that. I mean like that real Mexican stuff.
Look,
The trumpet and the banda.
I mean, that stuff's still good. I
Like that
know.
stuff. It is good,
Oh yeah.
but
When I hear it, if I hear it in the
that's
neighborhood or I hear it when I'm going to work, I'm like, "Yep, that's home." Because I would have neighbors just playing that stuff till 1 a.m. in the morning. Sometimes I'm
that's
like, I'll turn it on to sleep because I'm so used to it. I love it. It's great.
I mean that's the thing. I think it's funny sometimes. I have people telling me, some of my friends here. We's good friend of mine. He tells me, Venom, you're not Mexican. And I said, why am I not Mexican? He said, because you can't sing the Rey Mysterio theme song. And I'm like, so because I can't, because I don't know the words to the Rey Mysterio theme song, I'm not Mexican. Yeah. Like, all right, well, then I guess, whatever.
Look, your Spanish is far better than mine. I can understand Spanish well, but speaking Spanish, phew, I have a hard time thinking in Spanish and then it coming out.
Yeah, I've had moments like that.
Um, But no, I love it. Now that we got kind of a little glimpse into your life, KSI, you've been here a long time, longer than most people here. You've been on the board for a long time too, and it's time we talk about it. So, the first thing I want to ask, um, you have been in web ops for a really long time. What would be your fondest memory in web ops?
Um, Fondest memory in web ops. Honestly, I'd probably say so. For those of you that don't know, web ops is consists of the joint area. Long time ago, it consisted of many areas. But the one that you had GSM back in the day. The game section mods. That was one big thing they had back in the day. It didn't last too long. You know. Um, but the one predominant factor about the web ops is the joint area. I mean, there's the courts, but that's still up to the moderators and senior joint mods and stuff like that, and whoever else I decide to kind of appoint as a court judge to deal with that. But the one prominent thing is the joint area, and so probably my best. I've seen some things as a joint mod, so and I think that's kind of got me. What's the word? Desensitized to what I see here. I've seen a lot of things. I've seen parts of I've seen male parts I didn't want to see. But I think probably my best one is probably my fondest memory is probably one of the first I ever ran. There was a dude. There was a guy. He had applied and he had listed a bunch of gamer tags. And was questioning this man. He's kind of lying. He's kind of giving me the whole I don't know how this is that. I bought this Xbox off of a Facebook Marketplace, and that's believable. But when you do the research on it and you're seeing, when you type in one gamer tag that he's listed as current gamer tag, well, then it provides you a little bit to previous gamer tag. He's also listed on that app, and then when you type in that gamer tag, it also gives you another gamer tag, and then another gamer tag, and then so forth. And it's like, well, dang, man, you bought, it's like, well, you bought this Xbox off of Facebook Marketplace, and somehow, some way, you know everything about this person. How is that possible? And so I started doing my research about it. And back in the day, the joint area was a lot different than what it is nowadays. We operate under a more streamlined process. Um, Back in the day, whew, that would take 2 weeks to get done, and that's just because you know processes was a lot different. You could put your app in today, right? And back in the day, we had 7 for people, and so like I said, you could put your application in today, and I could do my, checks, everything comes out, takes 3 days. Well, at that point, 7-day hold starts, so you're waiting 10 days to get in. Nowadays, it's a lot different. But back to that. So no, I guess I did my digging. This dude was really, lack of better terms, he's really pissing me off, and so I gave my report to the head of the joint area, or head of web ops at that time, which was KSI Riot 7. And he's like, man, he said, you went in depth. I said, that's what we're supposed to do, right? He said, oh yeah, you're supposed to go in depth. Said, okay. And then, so, I laid the facts out on this man, and I was like, look, I said, here's all the proof, man. And you're still going to sit here and tell me that you don't know about the dude. And this dude is not you. Yeah, man, that's exactly what I'm telling you. And it's like, you are denied. It wasn't even like a 90, 30 day, 60 day, 90. It was flat out, you're not allowed here.
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. I mean, to me, I'm gonna tell you right now, anybody that's applying to it,
Mm-hmm.
that's applying to join or rejoin the community, be honest on those applications. They can find out if you're lying, and if you're lying, well, you know what? If you lie to come here, I don't want you here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How can we trust you to be here? So that's just a big thing.
And there's no point in lying either. You know what I mean? Because we're gonna
No,
find out. We're
you're gonna
nosy.
get caught. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's it's somewhere. One, back in the day, I used to say nowadays, I used to say back in the day, everything is so social media based that it's almost impossible to leave a paper trail. Well, to not leave a paper trail, actually, you know, of this and that, because people are going to use, gamer tags, whether it's PlayStation name, Xbox names, Steam, whatever. 9 times out of 10, they're going to use that thing for a social media handle. Whether it's X, it's TikTok, it's Instagram, something like that. So, we'll find you either way. And not even just that now. I mean, nowadays, since we've kind of, mended fences with, communities that we've had issues with in the past, we have more of a network that, hey, we can cross reference with these guys and say, hey, have you ever had this person? Yeah, we've had them. What's the story on? Oh, you don't want them. Well, why is that? Well, this and that. Well, no, well, hey, they ain't gonna be a fit here. So, like I said, it's a different landscape now,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a better landscape. So yes, checks are more thorough nowadays.
Now, you've been in web ops for a long time. Um,
So,
what were some of the struggles you had getting to the position you are in now as chief administration officer?
chief administrative officer. Okay. Um, one, one of the biggest thing was, um, you know, I made, I'll tell anybody, that it's okay to make a mistake. Okay. It's all right to make a mistake. You're going to make them. Everybody does. But it's important that you learn from making those mistakes. I, one day, was handling a lot of things in clan ops at the time. And I made a mistake that I shouldn't have made. I like to think of myself as a very, you know, punctual person. I like to make sure everything's right. I'm not gonna half-ass anything. Um, but one day, just stresses of playing outside the community on top of real life stuff, just got in the way, and I made a big uh-oh. And to this day, I'll tell a little fun story about that. So as a moderator, we was also court judges for the community, and one of the jobs of the court judges was to file records on people that have gotten removed or some disciplinary action was taken against them in the community. We filed a record, so like if they ever came back or something, we had that record of them. Say, hey, well this person did this, okay, whatever. But one day I found a record on somebody, and well, when you file a record correctly, it goes into a place where nobody can see it but the court judges and the board of directors.
Mm-hmm.
So one day, one of the senior mods was looking, and I believe it was airborne, and he was wondering. He said, "Why is this record getting so many views?" And they looked, and well, you know what? Venom put it in the wrong area. Venom put it on public display for the whole community.
Uh-oh.
So they had to quickly hide that record, put it in the right area, and then I remember one of the other mods. He messaged me. He said, nice knowing you. I was like, what? He said, bro, you effed up. I said, what I do? He said, I ain't gonna tell you. I'm gonna let them tell you. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I was, I ain't telling nobody the secrets of the place. I knew that.
Yeah, you weren't doing
So I'm
anything
thinking, I was like,
crazy.
no, I was like, well, what did I do? And then I remember I messaged Airborne and I was like, hey man, what's going on, bro? Like nobody's talking to me. Like, did I do something? He said, man, I'm gonna let Riot talk to you. I was like, oh, okay. They're calling the big boss to come talk to me. So Riot talks to me and he said, Venom, you know what we're talking? I said, no, I don't, man. And he's like, Venom. He said, I need you to go look at that record you posted. I said, okay. He said, look at those views. I said, 150. He said, Venom, look at the record below that. How many views? 3. I said, okay. He said, you know what happened there? I said, no, what happened? He said, Venom, you put that in public forum. I was like, did I? He said, yeah, go check the moderation history. I looked and I was like, oh man. So, man. That's all I could say was just, oh man. He
Mm-mm.
said, I told him, I said, I understand. I said, look, hey, I said, if you got to fire me, man, I get it. I
Yeah.
understand fully. I said, if you don't fire me, hey, you know what, man, I will take any punishment, you'll give me to make this right. I said, I don't care if I got to do everybody's stats for the next month, 2 months, whatever. If you need me just to, run joint apps, I'll do it, man. Because I messed up big time. And I, I make the joke nowadays to the ones handle the records. I said, yeah. I said, I'm gonna let y'all know anytime if y'all put those records in the public forum, I'm just gonna fire you. Well, why is that? I said, mistakes happen. I said, yeah. I said, but I used y'all's get out of jail free card years ago. That card don't exist no more.
So, would you say that web ops back in the day was far more difficult than it is today due to the influx of people that are active within the community, or is it just a different time and people just aren't as active with our forums
It,
in the past?
so, I mean, it's a different thing about it. You know, the team I have nowadays, I'm eternally grateful for them because, this group of individuals, you see the passion that they have for this place. Um, and I will say this, in the past, I've had people that probably didn't have the passion for this that, I do, or, you know, or the passion that they should have had for this because, a lot of times, I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of times, just as is today as it was back then, a lot of your applications, you're gonna have that interest in application, where you're gonna find this and that on that person, and then you're gonna have that application where you just don't find anything on them, and it's just a straightforward application, and you get them in, you get them out. But I don't. The thing about it is, it's to me, when the joint area really thrived on the forums for a long time because that was the main, that was the social hub of KSI. I mean, for God's sake, I mean, as an officer, they based your activity off the forums. As an officer, you had to post 2 or 3 times a week on the forums to be considered active, and that didn't include your check-in. That was just say, whatever. So yeah, I mean, but that was because of Kick, and and then Tapa Talk comes, and Tapa Talk is just horrible. And then well, we get Discord, and you kind of seeing a lot more people, just posting links, and it's just you're not getting a lot of traffic and stuff like that. The only times the forum started really, was maintaining traffic was during annual events where, a poll for, oh, vote for your division for Spirit Week or Fall Classic, Spring Break, something. So that was when you got, traction on the forums. And the only thing that really kept the forums going for the longest time really was, the join area and then AAP.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but even that was, when we made this process what it is nowadays, where it's a very much more simplified process where, I can, you could apply now. And if everything checks out, join mods on top of your application, you could be cleared, with, like I said, everything going right, you could be cleared within an hour. You get
Mm-hmm.
recruited in here. Shoot, nowadays, back in the day, we was having to wait 2 and 3 days for applications because why? One, you don't get a notification of if the join mod post a clearance for you, or if a division divisional leadership posts acceptance or expresses interest in them, you don't get tagged for that. So it made the process a lot longer than what it should be. So definitely moving into Discord was probably the best route we did for that. And like I said, don't get it twisted that we're saying how we don't use our forums. Yes, we still use our forums. For archive purposes, everything that comes to the join area still ends up on the forums. It just gets archived there. So that's that. I mean, yeah, but no, we understand that Discord is the way of the future. And I say give it a couple more years, and something else will be better than Discord. That you'll see a lot of communities moving into that versus using Discord.
And I think that's
It's just
just,
the nature of the beast.
yeah, it's technology. You know what I mean? Technology, I
Yeah,
think.
exactly. Technology's changing every day.
Mm-hmm.
That what's new today is going to be old, a couple years. So
Absolutely, and I think it's so important for not only ourselves but communities and the clan scene in general to move forward with the times. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, using the QR
yeah,
codes. You know what I mean?
yeah,
QR codes are everywhere. If I need to log into Hulu on my TV, there's a QR code, and I just scan it, and
yeah.
it's so easy to log in.
Oh yeah. I mean, you could even set, I think you can set an Xbox up by scanning a QR code nowadays.
Really?
I think so. I think you can do it like from your like the Xbox app. You can set your Xbox up. You know,
Oh.
so
Well, that's nice. I
it's
didn't even know
weird.
you could do that. I haven't got an Xbox in a while, but
I found that out when I got my Series X. So yeah, I could have did it through my phone. So
well, neat. Okay. Well, I love that. Um,
yeah,
but
I mean,
what?
like I said, it's yeah. Like, everything's changed nowadays. I mean, even the ways of joining this community's changed. We talk about the old days of KSI, the old days of KSI. Does the old ways still work? Yes, they still work, but also the new ways work. So,
Now, with the changes that have happened, how do you feel about the changes that we have put into place? And um, like we don't have a blacklist anymore. Um, and something we'll talk about later on. We've changed a lot of things we've done. How do you feel about those changes, and how do you feel like those changes have affected yourself and the community as a whole?
I mean, I think obviously the overhaul, the getting rid of the blacklist is something that should have happened years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, we hadn't added anybody to that list in 5 years. If anything, we took people off of it. Um, so I mean, yes, I mean, so that's changed. I mean, it's simple as that. I mean, we only had 2 people on that list
Mm-hmm.
for that time frame. And it's like, man, these communities haven't even been active really doing what they were doing in the last few years. So, uh, as far as like the other changes, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think they're beneficial. I mean, they're always beneficial if they're executed correctly. Like if you do the changes correctly and you do them right, yes, they're going to work. Um, Now the only problem with changes, you actually got to do it. So, and as I said, I think we've definitely been more active in making changes here. This is this community now is completely different from what it was 3, 4 years ago.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I see people talk about it. Oh, you guys are focusing on just recruiting, and no. Well, there's that excuse, oh, you guys are just focused on recruiting when you all should be focused on retaining. Well, yes and no. The overall goal is yes to retain what you have, but it's also to grow. You can grow and still retain what you have.
Absolutely.
So
Do you think, talking about that, do you think that retention is harder than recruiting, or recruiting is harder than retention because, there's a lot of games out there that aren't used anymore. For instance, isn't it First Descendant that is getting removed?
I don't know.
I think it
Like I don't,
is.
I really don't know what they recruit on nowadays. I mean, honestly, I probably feel like they recruit on the big games.
Yeah.
Black Ops 6, any form of Call of Duty. I mean, honestly, because they're probably still all pretty played. Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 6. You know, so the Call of Duty as a whole still probably utilize a Destiny. Um, Fortnite, Apex.
Mhm.
That man is
Mhm.
busting a run. Let's go.
Mhm. God, I love Apex.
Um, just like the big games nowadays.
Yeah.
And when I originally joined KSI, man, it was Black Ops 2.
Yeah. Or Halo.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Black Ops 2 or Halo, or Destiny. The original Destiny. You never thought you would see battle royales taking a big, focus into the in the KSI as it has now. Now, as far as what's more difficult, retention or recruiting, I think it just depends on the person. You know,
Mhm.
and I've always told people this. Even as a officer or just talking playing ops with these up and coming officers that there's some keys to success for a squad. Um, and there's about, in my opinion, there's eight keys to squad success, division success, whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
and ultimately community success. Four of them, everybody's got to know how to do. Security checks. Everybody should know the security check on somebody. And then cap, which is you should be able to communicate. You should know how to take accountability, and then you should know when to be professional. And so and then the other four, um, well, that's recruiting, that's training, that's organization, and that's retention.
Mhm.
The thing about it is, to me, those four, that's not a thing that everybody's gonna have. You're gonna have that person that's gonna be a good recruiter, and just like you're gonna have that person that's that good retainer. So I think it's really what's harder. It depends on the person.
Right.
You know, Me personally, I look at myself back in the days, when I was in clan ops as an officer, I was more the trainer. Um, you look at people like Wild Mama, she's more of a social butterfly. You know, she's good at retaining people. Um, let's see, who I'd say is a good recruiter. Um, you know, I want to give a shout out to guy over in Valkyrie. Name is KSI Alpha. He when I was in clan ops, I was in the squad with him, and this man, he was bringing in recruits I never thought you see recruits coming in off of. He's bringing in recruits in off of Hunter Call the Wild and stuff like that. And it's like, how you recruit folks
No, he
like
did
that?
not.
Yes, that man was bringing in recruits off of Hunter Call the Wild.
That's dope. My dad plays that game.
So that's what I'm saying. So that right there, that's a recruiter.
Mhm.
Um, somebody who I feel is a great organizer. I mean, that's to me that's swag. Swag's great organizing. Same thing with Slick.
Mhm.
You know, that's just a thing. It's the thing about it is you can't it's good to be well versed in one thing. If you quote unquote tell me, well, I'm good at all aspects of this community, well then there's no room for you to learn. We can't teach you if you're good at everything.
Right.
And that's just the thing about it. So like I said, it just depends on the preference. I mean, obviously, yes, if you're a good retainer, then yes, retention is going to come easy to you. If you're a good recruiter is going to come easy to you. And if you're not, then those two aspects, and among those other two, are going to be difficult for you. But so I mean, yeah, that's for me personally. I think it's probably, in my opinion, if I did have to pick it, I probably would say that it's easier to retain people than it is to bring people in, because retaining, that's getting on game and having fun, which we're supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
You know, that's the whole precipice of this place, is to have fun. So yeah, I think retention is probably the easier one, because it's hard. It's hard not to have fun. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think that, and this kind of goes for the whole clan scene too, because we all see X, right? We know what's going on.
Yeah.
Um, do you think people in general have lost the fun aspect to gaming and to the clan scene as a whole? Because, you know, it's, I feel like a lot of people treat it as a job sometimes, and that can really put a damper on the whole aspect. Or people, it's like a second job. You know what I mean? This is a
Yeah.
hobby. It's supposed to be fun.
Yes. I think I can't. I don't. I can't, and I don't want to speak for the other clans and communities out there, because I'm not a member of those
Right.
clans and communities out there. I'm a member of this one. And I think the whole aspect of, I mean, yeah, you're right. It does come off a lot of times as it's a job, yeah, because that's sad to say, but that's the schematic that leadership's put in place for that.
Mhm.
You know, oh, you got to be on this time. Like, no, like, to me, that's why it's it's one of them things that if it's happening, it shouldn't happen.
Mhm.
Because to me, in web ops, that's the one thing I stress to these people, is to my join mods, is your real life comes first. Hey, if you don't feel good, if you're sick, you got some family stuff coming up, something that's gonna take you away from doing your app. Let me know, man, or woman. you know, it. We can get somebody to cover for you. That's I am a firm believer that your real life comes first here. I will say, I'll be honest with you. Back in the early days of KSI, it wasn't like that. No, we was treated like, the sad part about it was we was treated like we was a number. Nowadays, it's not like that. I don't feel it's like that. I feel that the leadership players, they genuinely care, and and that's how it should be. So yeah, I think a lot of people, they do, but I will say, I do think a lot of people take this too serious. And why? That's the question. Why are you taking this serious, man? Like, this, we're not getting paid here. I mean, y'all aren't. I get paid. I joke. I'm joking on that one.
I was
I
like,
don't get
wait, hold
paid
on a
here.
minute. I was like, hold on a minute.
yeah.
Wait
Yeah,
up.
hold on. Oh, wait a minute. How much you getting paid? No, but yeah. So no, I think the big thing is just have fun here. Like, don't take this serious. This is an escape from your real life. And that's what a lot of people use this for. Is to escape their real life.
Mhm.
Um. So have fun while you're doing this.
I agree. I mean, and I tell people all the time, guess what? This is a niche hobby. You know what I mean? We're not one of those that are on the news. There's not a lot of YouTube videos about the
Heck
clan
no.
scene or anything like
Heck
that.
no.
So it's supposed to be fun. It's a hobby. You know what I mean? If you're not
Yeah.
having fun, reassess. Figure out what's going
Exactly.
on.
Why are you doing this? Why
Yeah,
are you doing this? If you're not having fun, why are you doing that?
exactly. Now, speaking about having fun, what are some fun things you're able to do in your job that you consider fun?
As the board member or the head of web ops?
Head of web ops, board member, whatever. What would you consider fun with your jobs?
I mean, I look at it like this. My job, me and my team, we're the first line of defense for this community against anybody that is, looking to harm this community, potentially harm the members here, so that's, so really, I'm gonna be honest with you, taking down those folks makes me feel good. It gives me a sense of achievement. I love it. I think that something I said, yeah, that's the fun aspect for me is to do it, making sure this place stays safe from anybody that's looking to cause it harm, because if I can keep somebody out here that shouldn't be here, you know, because like I said, we have members here from different age groups, different walks of life, and the overall goal is we should be protecting them. So if if by what I do here protects them, then hey, that's enough for me. That's what makes it all worthwhile.
I love that.
So
And it's important too, right? You want your members to feel safe when they're here because I think
yeah.
there's a lot of examples of moments where members haven't been safe. You know what I mean? And I think it's a great segue into the topic that I love hearing you talk about and one that is my favorite, and that's you being a KSI historian. I have coined that term for you. I will make you a graphic with that term. KSI Venom, the historian. Um, what is a big historical moment that you think either created a sense of not like of dire need or safety for the members, or um, helping create a more safer space, or even a historical event that you want to talk about?
I mean, for me, the biggest one I've been a part of, honestly, I grew up in the when I first joined here in 2014. It was, we were seeing folks getting blacklisted each and every day. Whether it was for doing the offense or being associated with somebody doing the offense. It's like, oh, like dang, I don't know them. So, which I mean, to me, kind of you talk about that, it kind of brings into the. I'll get into my biggest moment here in a second, but I think the biggest one for me is well when I met KSI Paratroop 7.
Uh-oh.
Paratroop, the former head of IA.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a general at the time, first time in the community. And the reputation that Paratroop had was, oh, hey, if you go meet with Paratroop, you better watch what you say because that man will blacklist you. If you don't watch what you say. And I'm like, oh, shoot. So then one day, I get invited to a party by my div leader, KSI Shiver 7. And he said, hey, Venom. I said, yeah, what's up, man? He said, did you do something? I said, what do you mean? He said, well, did you do something that why I wants to talk to you? I was like, no, I don't know. I don't think I did. He said, well, Paratroop wants to meet with you at 9 Eastern tonight. I was like, okay. Who's Paratroop? He's like, oh, who's Paratroop? I said, yeah, who's Paratroop? He's like, oh, that's the head of IA. I was like, with IA Internal Affairs. I'm like, oh, okay. He said, I don't want to tell you. I said, what? He said, don't. He said, watch what you say. And I said, what do you mean? He said, man, he said, if you, he said, Paratroop is a different breed. I said, okay. He said, you say the wrong thing to Paratroop, you're getting blacklisted. I said, oh, shoot. You know. So 9 o'clock rolls around and I'm sitting here, biting my fingernails and waiting to meet the man, Paratroop, and I get that invite to the party. And first thing he says, do you know why you're here? I'm like, no, they wouldn't tell me. He said, "So we got word that you know a little bit about the situation that we're looking into."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Well, what situation is that?" He said, "Oh, the KSI Lost Soul situation." I said, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I know a little bit about that. Well, I know a lot about that."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Okay." He said, "You tell me your side of the story." And while we're talking, and he's like, "Oh, he said, man, you seem nervous." He's like, I said, "Well, I am nervous." He's like, "Why are you nervous?" And I'm like, I said, "Because they told me that if I say the wrong thing to you, you gonna blacklist me." He said, "Oh no, man." He said, "You," he said, he said, "I'm not," he said, I'm not out here. I'm not here to worry about that." He said, "Well, I'm just here to see what you know about this." And I told him what I knew about it. And I remember Cuba told me, "Hey, he said, there's a funny thing here." I said, "Oh, trouble, trouble." And I'm like, "Okay, well, what's the funny thing here?" He said, "The funny thing is, man, you and the other four I've talked to, four, so yeah, I've talked to four other ones. Y'all told me the same story." I was like, "Okay, but what's funny about that?" He said, "The funny thing is your buddy, the one we're looking into, his story don't match y'all's one bit."
Yikes.
And I said, "Ooh." And, okay, well, that's all I know, man. He said, "Well, okay, I appreciate that." In paratrooper, he said, "Well, I see you playing Destiny earlier." He said, "If you ever want to play Destiny, hit me up, man. We can play some." And it was paratroop that got me through my first raid on Destiny.
No.
So, yeah, so
Well,
me and
that's
paratroop played a lot
nice.
of Destiny after that. So yeah, I mean, that's something.
Mm-hmm.
Being IA for the first time here. Um, Now for me, the KSI historian. Well, you know what? One situation that really just calls to home when we talk history of KSI, and a big changing factor in this, um, the Hydra peace talks, and what it descended into was nothing but chaos. I mean, there was moments where a board member ended up retiring because of it. One was going to retire from it. Uh, One division, thought that they was above the rest, and felt that they controlled the narrative here, and they didn't. And then ultimately, it led to the mass exodus of that division, and then eventually that division closed down and paved way for other things. But I mean, if we want to get to the meat and carrots of it all, so for the longest time, the Hydra Alliance was blacklisted or banned by us because of the actions that took place, the tensions with them and us. And I'll be the first one to tell you, a lot of people give them, a lot of people back then, they gave them a lot of flack for what they did. And I mean, yeah, they did what they did.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, we did what we did.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when it all happened, yeah, it was time to talk peace. And some people was willing to hear that out, and some people weren't willing to hear that out. And well, we was talking about it. I remember they had brought in people from .com, um, you know, to to kind of help us. You know, like, hey, like we've had peace with these guys for better part of almost a year now, and we haven't had anything happen. I mean, other than a few isolated incidents, you know, but wasn't nothing bad. But yeah, but still, these, some of these members here, they was unwavering, and forget that, you know,
Yeah.
we don't want we no we don't want that. And
Mm-hmm.
then one day, a few words was exchanged, and all hell broke loose. in a Discord server. All hell broke loose, and everybody's going at everybody. And I got called, failed clan ops leader because I had quit clan ops at this time, and went straight to the web ops.
Mm-hmm.
And I proceeded to tell that man, to f him and his cowboy hat. Um, one of the board members at the time, KSI Drop Shot 7, he got called the R word by one of the co-founders over there.
That's crazy.
It was just it was hell, and I mean, they was attacking the board, and because what the sad part about it was, it boiled down to the web ops staff and the board of directors essentially versus that division,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the way that division played it out to be. That we was all this, this is what they want, and we have the most members here. We control the narrative, and the sad part about it was that division for the longest time had, while it had the most members, it also kept to itself with the rest from the rest of the community. It didn't interact with everybody else. You had ES at the time, SL, WD, and then DM, and DM was the one that kept itself away from everybody else. And even for the longest time, other divisions. So it was just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Things happened, and we, like I said, it got so bad to the point where the board of directors, they just kind of said, hey, stop. Next person that says something, they're getting removed. They didn't care who it was, right? They didn't care who it was. The next person that said something was getting kicked out. They froze the Discord server. And they said, look, we're gonna reconvene here in 2 days. Everybody will have 5 minutes to get their point across, and then we'll take a vote, and we will go from there. So the 2 days happened, and then, um, you know, I looked at the order of the conversation, what was going to happen, and they put me right under under the one that called me a failed clan ops leader. He got to go first, and I was one of the last ones that got to speak. And well, you know, one of the board members found out what I was going to say that day, and because I was going to verbally dissect him in front of the entire community. I wasn't there to talk peace because I was mad,
Rightfully so.
and so yeah, I was extremely heated. So I was not there to talk peace, and I was going to verbally dissect him in front of everybody. So, like I said, one of the board members found out about that, and they messaged me and said, "Hey, I need you to not do what you're planning on doing." I said, "Why?" They said, "Because I had this. I can't." They said, "Because if you do it, we'll kick you out." Um, they said, "But ultimately, you just do it for me. I know you're mad. I'd be mad too. But just be professional about it. Talk about how you feel this. Talk about why you feel this is a good idea." Because I was going to spend about 30 seconds spending. That's why I thought this was a good idea. In 4 minutes and 30 seconds, just doing that. So, okay, so kind of changed my statement up. And the one thing I heavily hit on was, it's like, look, we can sit here, because I had seen it in as a div leader when they had a member get blacklisted for doing things in a server with minors that she shouldn't have been doing. And somebody had told me, hey, some of your members are in a party with her. So I, you know, I looked at it. I was like, okay, well, let me see if I can get my people out of there. Back in the day, you associate a blacklisted person, you yourself got, blacklisted.
Mm-hmm.
That's just nature of the beast. So I would talk to my members, and my members told me, we're not leaving here. I was like, well, you realize, that she's blacklisted? Yeah. I'm like, okay. shoot, all right. And they told me, they said, Venom, you can remove if you want to, man. They said, I get it. They said, but she's our friend, and we're not, we don't believe the things that they said happened. And I was like, okay, whatever. So they ended up getting removed. So that perception of me changed, how I looked at stuff. It's like, well, just because somebody or something's blacklisted, that does not mean that the members are gonna, you know, stop from associating with them. I mean,
Right.
to me, like, if people get banned or something for, something heinous, and you still associate with them, you still support them, then realistically, I don't want you here anyways. But that to me kind of showed me that, hey, kind of reminds of a lot of this stuff. I mean, because plus, we seen how I seen how like all these other communities was, having fun with, with these other communities, what events they was planning and doing stuff together. And well, man, why can't we be in that? Oh, that's right, because we can't, get our head out of our ass and, you know, hang out with them. We have to hold on to petty grudges. So the major points I hit on was the fact that, like, look, we could tell our members you can't associate with them, but 9 times out of 10 they're gonna hide offline and go. I said, and that's the fact. We can't control the members, and even today we can't control the members here. You know, because we can't tell them that you can hang out with this person, can hang out with that person. Because here's the thing, one, it still is true to this day. I don't, I didn't buy your console, right?
Mhm.
I don't pay for your, your Xbox, get, your Game Pass, your PlayStation Plus, whatever Steam has. I don't pay for that, right? I don't buy your games, nothing. So I can't tell you who you can and can't hang out with, you know. And that was the point I tried to drive home to them. Like, look, and the sad part about it was, I brought it up too. KSI has, we ain't squeaky clean. We have our history of doing stuff. Every community does. So that's the thing. I mean, ultimately, behind the peace talks passed, and everything's, been, going smoothly from that. Like I said, the Hydra Peace Talks very beneficial to the community. One, we got to hang out with people. We was kind of, brought more into the loop of things of what's going on out in the clan scene. Like, hey, this is going on here. We have a working relationship with these people now. That we check to see, hey, is this person said before we were young, y'all don't want them. Well, why is that? No, they did this. Okay, well, we ain't taking them.
Mhm.
And vice versa. So I think the Peace Talks, 4 years later, going into 5 years later now, it's been beneficial for us. So that's probably during my time. It's probably the biggest thing. Seeing that. I mean, you know, as far as any other things, I mean, I seen seen divisions split. I've seen divisions come and go. It's crazy to think that when I was here and when I came here in 2014 to now, it's like, man, the only division that is still here technically is ES. Eternal Souls has been here for 10 years.
Wow.
That is crazy just to see
Yeah.
that divisions like Demonic Mayhem, is gone. Last Strike is gone. Divine Reign, Legendary Warriors, Crimson Dawn, Forced Induction, GZ, Ground Zero, MP, just naming them. That ES is the one that has stood the test of time and is still here. I mean, WD has been here for a while, but WD is a combination of WI and HD. WI was Wicked Intent and HD was Harmonic Destruction. So that's crazy to see that ES has stood the test of time. I mean, hell, CS is a combination of taking a squad of what's left of DM and a squad out of SL to make that.
Mhm.
Hell, Sovereign Legacy is what the remnants of what FI and CD and EO. It's crazy to think that over the years that's changed that much. So yeah,
Abs-
no,
Absolutely. Now, you've named a lot of divisions. Do you think, with how we're doing right now, because we just had a squad split not too long ago, and there's predictions for more, and our growth is doing
yeah,
way better, and I think
it's not a
our
prediction. It's a spoiler.
well, look, this is coming out. This is coming out later. Okay, we're not gonna worry about that. But
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying in general that it's not a prediction.
yeah.
The squads will split.
Mhm. But me trying to not to give out all the tea. Um, would you want to see some of those old names back, or do you think we need to make new names? Because I like most of those
You
old
know,
names.
I mean, I think some of the names are cool. They're cool. I mean, harmonic destruction. Wicked intent, forced induction, divine rain. You know, the thing about it is, I'm gonna be honest. I think when something dies, right?
Mhm.
When something dies, best to leave it dead. You know,
Mhm.
I think like I'll tell you right now, the squad I was originally recruited into, Hydra ES. Hydra ES has been brought back about 3 or 4 times.
It has, yeah.
Why? So it's like, why? Leave things dead. It has a stigma. It don't last. That's what I'm saying. It's like, bruh, just let it go.
Mhm.
Let it die.
Okay. Okay.
You know? Because I think that to me, it's almost like, if you bring back something that's, they did away with, right? You have to, you have to work twice. It might be you have to work twice as hard to get back what was lost, reclaim its final glory. And that's hard to do when something's gone. Bring it back. I don't know. I think, honestly, I think starting fresh is something that's great, you know?
I agree
Man,
wholeheartedly.
those names were badass back in the day, though.
They were cool. Now, do you have any names you would like to see that you've just been? I know you've been thinking of some of them. Maybe even it was just a squad name.
I told Swag before. I said, Swag, if you ever merged ES and CS together, we could have Chaos, Souls, Eternal Syndicate, stuff like that. Um, but I mean, when I was, younger, and more active in the whole thing, um, I don't know. I never really thought of names for divisions, but squads, man. I wanted, when I was a div leader, and we was getting close to splitting Elysium, right? I wanted to name the split Immortal. Immortal was a DR name, you know. So yes, I kind of went against my own words there, saying, oh, leave it dead, you know. But that was years ago. So I've never really played around with like division names because I don't think I'm that creative in that sense. But like squad names, oh yeah, squad names, hell yeah. Like I remember when we made sat, like when I split Samurai to make Paladin. Paladin was an old name from LW. Um, we wanted. I was like, man, like the names. Like I was like, man, it's a shame they won't let me name that squad. It's like, yeah, because I had a lot of names for that. Because the way I wanted to look, I wanted Paladin to be like a continuation of Samurai. So just kind of keep up with that theme and stuff like that.
I'm sure you got some
So it was
good
just
names to throw around once those splits happen again. Because I'm excited
oh
to
yeah,
see what they come up with. Because I love hearing what
right,
sometimes our members really do just have. They come up with something, and I'm like, wow, I would have
yeah.
never thought of
Like
that in a million years.
I love the name Inferno.
Oh, Inferno, yes, our new squad. Yes. Oh.
I love that name, Inferno.
It was a joy making that graphic for them, by the way, because the second they told me, I was like, I have an idea. And, wow, that was a really good idea. Because sometimes, I think we use very similar names, like a lot of synonyms. And,
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Because I mean that was the whole shtick back in the day. Oh well, your squad name has to fit the theme of your division.
Yep.
Like I remember when I first joined in ES. I mean, we had Hydra, we had Lycans, we had Incubus, we had Banshee. Um, you know, angels, demons. You know, um, what's that other one? Wicked. Yeah, yeah. Wicked came from DL. Same thing, I think, with Incubus and you know, yeah, but Lycans, like that's cool. I mean, then we split Hydra. You get Ragnarok. They made Siren. They made Griffin. They made a lot of squads, and they fit the theme. You know, but to me, what division had the best names? I'd probably say DR. Immortal, Judgment, Valhalla. Elysium. El Valkyrie was from DR.
Really?
Yes. So as I'm saying, like you look at divisions like LW, Legendary War, Samurai, Paladin, Caesar, Beowulf, um, Hannibal. You know.
Ooh, I like that.
So I mean, like I said, back in the day, like a lot of names and stuff was cool. Like FI had good names. Octane, Nitro. So I say it's just
I love
I
that,
think
though.
like I said, I think that they're I'm anxious to see what names they come up with in the future.
Oh, absolutely. I,
But they got but they
me.
got some big shoes to fill. They got some big shoes to fill because like I said, DR had the best names.
Look, I think this, when members hear this, especially, our captains going to become gens in these splits, they're going to come up with some cool stuff. I have a feeling
There you go.
that they're going to take some of your advice and just run with it. I'm excited. But,
Um,
you've been here a while. It's clear. You know a lot of old names of divs and squads and all kinds of stuff. And
yeah.
the one thing here in KSI that we talk about a lot is our why. Why are we here? And I know your why, I'm sure, has changed since the first time you've been in. And I have asked you your why so many times, but I want to know why your why has changed over the years.
Well, you know, so when I originally joined this community in 2014, I only joined this place to be with my friends because I was what's the word, introvert, where you don't you don't like meeting people, I guess, right? Is that introvert?
It is, yes.
I'm
You don't
okay, yeah.
you're in your little shell.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't like meeting people, and so my friends told me, "Oh, well, either you join with us or not. But if you don't, man, hey, we're gonna put in our KSI friends, so you're kind of left on your own." I said, "Well, I gotta join." So that's the thing about it. That's why I originally joined, just to be my friends. I became an officer because my first squad meeting, it's like crack. When I heard them say, "All right, guys, we're gonna break off and go talk in our super secret officer meeting." Like, man, I gotta know what they're talking about in there. So I remember I asked the captain, "KSI Hollow Point." It's a hollow point. I said, "How does one become an officer?" He said, "Oh." He said, "Man, all you gotta do, you just gotta get 2 recruits. That's it. That's it." He said, "But I'm gonna tell you right now, man, you better get them 2 recruits now because if you don't get those 2 recruits, reruns for the squad. It's gonna be a little harder to move up then." Well, get these recruits real quick. I got my recruits. Let me split the squad. And then, like I said, I found out what that officer meeting was nothing, man. They was just in there talking, just talking. Shooting the whatever you want, whatever word you want to say right there. I'm
The
not gonna cuss.
breeze.
Shoot the breeze. There you go. So that's why I was hooked. And then it's like, you don't. So that's why I moved to the first time. And then the why changed into, well, I want to get gin for all my friends do, right? And I did that. So that's okay. Well, um, and then things happen. You leave, whatever. You come back. You know, came back second time because people needed me to. Hey, we're trying to fill a squad. You have history. Come on, come be an officer. It won't take much. Get you in real quick. So, all right, whatever. Come and do that. And then we're not even gonna talk about that because that KSI experience just put a bad taste in my mouth.
Mhm. I
People didn't
think
live up to their word.
I think we all have us older folk, you know what I mean? Before the
Yeah,
changes, I think we all have those bad experiences that we had, and it all kind of changed our perspective on how we ourselves as leaders are now. And I'm
yeah.
kind of grateful for them. You know what I mean? I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. You have to go through the bad to get, and that's when I looked at it like when I came back this last time in 2017, and meeting a lot of people, meeting you know KSI Kamikaze, who was very passionate about the place. He told me, I said, Cam, how you get this person trained? I've been trying 2 days to get a hold of him. You send this man one message, and he just magically gets in your party. And Cam told me, he said, Venom or Sanity, it's all about the approach. Yeah, because I didn't use Venom when I came back in 2017. I didn't use my Venom name. I used it later on. Not now.
Mhm.
Not that time. It's just about the approach. So that's why I tell anybody nowadays, hey man, it's the approach you take to things is how things get done now. And then the concept of the why. Well, that was something that KSI Havoc 7 had showed me. Um, KSI, I'm not gonna KSI Havoc 7 showed me a lot about being a leader here. Very soft-spoken individual, and I remember. You know, I'll tell you a little fun story about Havoc. Um, we, I was general of Samurai DW Divine Warriors. I like to give people chances, benefit of the doubt. Oh, oh man, they'll do good. They'll do good. Like pretty much, I was covering for them. And I remember Havoc had told me one day, he said, Venom, yes sir, what's up? He said, I know you want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I said, I do. He said, but I'm going to tell you. He said, look, this is going to get done one way or another. I said, okay. He said, so it's going to be either you do this and get it done, or I do it. But if I do it, you're going to get something too. And he's like, so what's more important to you? And I'm like, well, you know what? I'm not letting somebody that's not doing their job ruin my job. So it'll be done. And that's what I did. I got it done, you know, and it was good. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've used, I call it positive reinforcement. Well, maybe negative reinforcement, because it's kind of like when you threaten somebody with like, well, hey, something happened to you, this. So, but that's one thing he showed me. But the biggest thing he showed me was the why. And he explained to me. He said, why'd you do this? And I told him. He said, okay. He said, so, and I'll tell you, as you get here, your why changes. And I never really thought about it. Coming up the ranks the first few times, the why was for very selfish reasons. For myself, you know, never for the betterment of this place. And as I got, more time in here, the why changed. And simply put, my why is this: I want to make a difference here. And I look at it like this as a general. You want to make a difference in a squad or a person, and you do that, okay? So it's like, well, man, I did that. So what now? Well, obviously the next step is to, make a difference in the division. Well, you can do that too. Because you're a 7 or you're a div leader, hell, even a director at points in time. And it's like, well, once you get that sense of accomplishment done there, it's like, well, what's next? Well, you nowadays I look at it. I want to make a difference on the community level. So obviously, to me, you know, as time goes by, your why changes. Not necessarily like completely changes, but in the sense of like just the level of it changes. You know, you the changes you want to make are bigger and bigger than what they were, say, 6 months ago. And it kind of goes back to a lot of things. One, challenge yourself and others to do more. Fuzzy says it all the time. Be the change you want to see. And that's the thing. You you have to be willing to do put the work in to make those changes happen. So do I feel that I've made a difference here? I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Mhm.
Do I feel that I've made differences on people? Maybe. But once again, you don't know unless they tell you that. Then hey, you really made a difference. Well, I say, I don't know that because nobody's saying that to you. And don't get me wrong, I'm not looking for a sense of accomplishment here to say, hey, you know, I did this, I did that. So what? You know,
Mhm.
this isn't about me anymore. It's about the people here.
Absolutely.
So I think if you can make, if you can, to me, if you can change, somebody's perspective here on how they look at things, that's good. So it's just you have to take you. It's to me nothing. Anything you want to do here, you can do it. You just have to believe you can do it. And be willing to put that work in to do it. You know, if because I'm gonna tell you right now, nothing's gonna change in one day for you. You know, oh, I can say, oh, I want to split my squad. Oh, well, guess what? Huh. Why am I here? I'm here to split a squad. That's my why. Well, guess what? I can't split a squad in one day. It takes time to do that.
Mhm.
Everything takes time here. You just have to be willing to put the work in for it. And that's the thing. Times are going to get hard for people here. And you have to really, sometimes you have to reflect back on that why and sit back and look back and say, hey man, this is why I'm doing this because I want to do this here. So I have to go through the hard times, to keep what I want to do here, alive. So yeah, no, that's the thing. Times get tough, but everything here is over. You can overcome it. Um, it's just you got to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, that goes into, if you do our workshops, little, plug. Um, in one of them we talk about, knowledge, strength, and integrity, what, we stand for. And, I always talk about strength. You're gonna go through stuff, you're gonna go through obstacles, and it's that strength that you have in yourself to get it done. And I think you could have said it better than myself or anyone else for that matter.
I mean, I'll tell anybody this. I mean, it was an old "So You Think You Can Write," and they said, how do you deal with obstacles here? What's your advice to deal with obstacles? And you could. I remember I put it as being up to bat, right,
Mhm.
in a baseball. And I had said, I believe, when you're up to bat, you got one or two options here. Obviously, one, you could um, just let yourself get struck out And right there, that shows you're scared. You know, that shows you're scared to do the work here. You are scared to make things happen. Um, or you can strike out. But hey, you tried, and I got it done.
Yeah.
And then there's the last option. You swing and you hit that ball out of the park, and you get it done. So, you know, the choices you make here, that's up to you. Nobody else. Nobody influences your decision here. What you want to do here is what you want to hear because you want to do it. Not because I tell you to do this. Not because, you listen to this little interview we're doing here. No, you do stuff because you want to do it.
You're making me a little teary eyed. That was, yeah. Yeah. And I think, I just, I think this community means so much to people. It means so much to me. And being able to see these new members, right? Because I've been around since 2015. I've, rejoined twice. It's my third time, last time rejoining.
Same.
Um,
Same.
it is my fifth year
This is it.
consecutively. This is it's my fifth year consecutively. I think on
Yeah.
the 12th of this month.
This is
Um,
my, yeah. I just did my 7th year in September.
yeah, and to be honest with you, I don't know where I would be without this community. I mean, I know it can be hard, it can be difficult. Um, Throughout those 5 years, you know me, I've been through a lot. Um,
Yeah.
and without this place, I don't know where I'd be, to be honest with you, and the friends I've made and the connections I've made and the people I've been able to meet in real life. I might not talk to those people anymore or associate with those people anymore, but um those are still good memories. Every time I meet a member, in real life or someone through the clan scene in real life, it's always a good memory. And it's beautiful. Me, I think it's beautiful that we that you can sit here and tell us all about your life and all this cool stuff about what's happened in the past, and people can still make a difference, because I think oh, I think I lost you there for a second. Wow, don't we love technology and the internet? So
Telling you.
I cut out there for a bit, but what I was trying to say was I don't know where I'd be without this community. And I think, with you saying, about obstacles, and you just got to step up to the bat. And I think, and I hope and I know that's going to resonate with all of our members, and even with myself too, because sometimes even I struggle, and I'm not really in leadership anymore. I retired. I'm having my fun doing, helping out where I can. um, but I think it's important. It's important for members to know that you can do anything here, and I think that's really
Yeah.
special. Well,
Of course. I
Venom.
mean, that's a big thing. I mean, yeah, you can do anything you want to do here. It's just you have to believe that you can do it. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Venom, we've been here a while. Is there anything else you want to say to the members? Anything you want to promote? Anything that, um, anything?
Yeah. Welcome to 2025, man. It's the retirement tour this year. No, I'm playing. We're not retiring yet. I mean,
Shoot.
no. I mean, by the time this interview comes out, the other years are already gonna happen. I mean, so congratulations to all the winners there. Definitely just big shout out to them. It's this big shout out for the members here because I mean, here's the thing. We as leaders, and I'm gonna tell you right now, my advice to somebody coming up the ranks here is simple. You don't think that just because I'm on the board of directors you know, or T's a staff sergeant or while Mama's a div leader, commies, a department head, swag, the chief of staff. Don't think that you, as a normal member here, aren't as important as us because you are. Um, the difference is, because at the end of the day, I'm just a member, just like they are. We are just members, just like each and every one of you are here. The only difference is, you know, we have some more responsibilities than y'all, but no matter what, at the end of the day, we are just a member here, just as like you are. So, don't feel that we're unapproachable, stuff like that. Now if you tell me the Houston Texans suck or that, I might be mad about that. Be like, no, they
Th-
don't suck. I mean, I say they suck, but I can say they suck.
I love it.
But no, I mean, yeah, no, nothing else. I mean, we strive to be better tomorrow than what we were today.
Amen to that. Well, thank you so much, Venom, for coming and talking with me for a little bit. I appreciate it. And yeah, thank you.
Like I said, thank you for having me. I've always wanted to do these. So this is a big this is the bucket list thing for me. You know,
Oh, absolutely. And more to come for sure. We're going to have you back about some
so yeah.
other stuff besides, you, So I'm excited.
Listen, I think one day in the future, we have to do the interview with Chad.
I think that
Now,
would be perfect.
now I just want to let you know, Chad is not he's not PG friendly.
No, he is not. We're going to have to figure that one out. But I would love that. And then the members get to meet Chad because they don't know who Chad
Get to
is
meet
yet.
Chad. No, they don't know who Chad. They don't know where Chad comes from. I mean, Chad is an enigma. All right, that's the best way to describe. Just tell people it's like who's Chad? Chad's an enigma.
Look,
So one
it's going to be
day
fun.
y'all will meet Chad.
It's going to be fun.
So oh yeah,
All right. Thank you, Venom. I love you, buddy. And I'll see you around.
love you too. All right.